Across the world tonight, millions sleep, but somewhere, someone is watching the sky. Someone is hearing something they can't explain. Someone is living through a moment that will change the way they see reality forever. Because beyond the headlines, beyond the official explanations, beyond what we're told is possible, the mysteries remain. Lights that move without sound, encounters that defied logic, signals, stories, and secrets waiting to be understood. For generations, these experiences were dismissed, ignored, explained away. But the questions never disappeared, and tonight we step into that world together. A world of paranormal investigation, scientific discovery, hidden history, and the search for answers that lie just beyond the edge of understanding. I'm Rob McConnell, and from the studios heard across Canada, the United States, and around the world, this is a place where the unexplained is explored. This is a place where the evidence is examined. And this is the place where the truth is pursued wherever it leads.
Welcome to the X-Zone.
The X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, REL-MAR McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
In the bitter Minneapolis cold, where snow and winter meet, Alex Pretty walked with open hands to stand beside the weak. A nurse who spent his life to help care for those in need. Not a soldier, not a threat, just trying to do good deeds. They called him names, they made their claims before the truth was known. But when the camera's on his side, Alex Pretty held a phone. He held a phone, not a gun, and just with every breath he drew, he meant to help, to calm the fear, not start a fight he never knew. They shot him down in daylight's glare, and now the streets won't.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our worldwide family of broadcast affiliates. My first guest tonight, X-Zone Nation, will be stepping beyond the boundaries of the ordinary perception. We're going to be stepping into a realm where ancient wisdom meets modern exploration. And our guest is no stranger to seekers of the truth. Joshua Shapiro is an author, researcher, and explorer of consciousness who has devoted decades to investigating the mysteries of energy, sacred geometry, metaphysical evidence, metaphysical science, and humanity's deeper connection to unseen forces. Through his work at the Gateway of Light, Joshua explores how consciousness, intuition, and spiritual awareness may shape reality itself, and how ancient knowledge may hold the keys to understanding the nature of our very existence. From subtle energies to expanded awareness, to the possibility that human potential is far greater than we've ever been taught, Joshua's work invites us to consider that the boundaries between science and spirit may not be walls, but bridges. Tonight we explore Are there hidden forces guiding human evolution? Can consciousness influence matter? And are we standing at the threshold of a new understanding of who and what we truly are? Joining me now is Joshua Shapiro. Joshua, welcome back to the X Zone. It has been way too long, my friend.
Thank you. It's always an honor and privilege to be on your show, Rob. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we're glad to have you back, my friend. You talk about expanded consciousness, Joshua. How does anybody prove that what we're actually describing isn't just belief wrapped in spiritual language? Joshua, are you there?
Well, Rob, this is what I've learned. Hello, I'm here.
Okay, Joshua, go ahead.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you, Joshua.
All right, good. All right. As you know, Rob, I've been involved in exploring what I call searching out the truth to understand everything.
For many
and then
years.
Reporting back to people what I
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then I just share back, what I find. I let people decide for themselves. Related to the question that you asked, though, about consciousness, since the Gateway of Light has come into my life, which was in April of last year, I've had an opportunity to speak to spirits in many different dimensions. Now, I know that as I start to share, because I have a website where I'm sharing communications that I'm receiving through the Gateway of Light, and I've also actually created some videos on TikTok where I've taken the information shared by the spirits that I'm speaking to, and I've given it a digital voice so people could actually hear the information that they're sharing. And what I have received from these living consciousness, which is beyond the level of the earth, as I understand it, is that we are immortal souls. And as immortal souls, we have the ability to experience many different levels of existence, many different dimensions, many different worlds, etc. And as a result of that, from a spiritual perspective, when a person starts to awaken to that part of themselves, they start to receive knowledge from their soul, knowledge that they've gained through the other lifetimes or other places that they've existed. And it just starts to expand their awareness of how they perceive the reality around them. And so what I've done through the Gateway of Light is as I've had these communications, and now I don't even know, Rob, how many pages of communications I have. It's got to be several thousand by now. I have many different perspectives from the galactic beings, from civilizations that have existed on the earth that we believe are gone, but are living in a higher dimensional level of our planet, from other worlds, even from dragons. I'm talking to all of these different levels. So, of course, as I continue to share my information that I'm getting, my experiences that I'm having with the Gateway of Light, I expect, there's going to be people that go, oh, this sounds very intriguing. And there are going to be other people that go, Joshua, you're crazy and insane. It's not possible. How could you be doing this? And so all I really have to show people is the communications I'm receiving and to allow them to decide for themselves if they feel good about the information or not. But I believe that eventually the more that I work with these systems, which if you ask me, I'll try to explain why I believe it's working. Eventually there'll come a point in time where I'll have people from many different walks of life with many different expertise, and we will really test the system to make sure that it's doing what I say it's doing. But for right now, because the information I'm receiving is so profound and unbelievable, I just feel, as I've always done, Rob, from day one when I started this, I just share what I find and I let people decide for themselves. And I think I do pretty good, at least with the crystal skulls. I have a lot of people that know me. But now this is a whole new area of the paranormal I'm getting into that I never expected would come up for me.
That raises an interesting point, Joshua. Is there a connection between the work that you did, and knowing you're still touching it, the work with the crystal skulls, and the
Gateway of Light?
Well, yeah, and the contact that you are now making and letting people know about and hear about on your website?
Well, this is what's come up with the crystal skulls, which is very interesting for me. So one of the things, now, of course, this has been my experience. So a lot of times when you have a spiritual experience, how do you prove this to someone else? They only understand you if they've had a similar experience.
Right.
So, like if a person is a crystal skull guardian, what I'm about to share, they'll go, oh yeah, I'm having this all the time. I know exactly what you're talking about, Josh. So the bottom line is, for me, when I work with the crystal skulls, and I have various spiritual gifts that I work with. My top two gifts are clairsentience, where I feel energy, and telepathy. And telepathy, I can give you an example of that, not with the skull, but with Katrina. Now, I don't know if I told you, my wife Katrina passed in the end of 2023.
No, you didn't, but my deepest condolences to you, my friend.
Thank you. Well, the whole thing is after going through about a year of the worst grief that you could possibly imagine. I mean, I never went through anything like this before. That's how close and connected we were. When the gateway of light came in the very beginning in April, after I realized that I could start talking to different spirits, I immediately asked for her and she stepped forward. And almost every day now, I talk to her, but that's not the experience I want to talk about right now related to her. I want to talk about when I'm doing a presentation, I can feel the presence of Katrina. It's always on my right side behind my right shoulder, and she'll actually whisper to me like, oh, Joshua, you should talk about this. Or she'll tell me, oh, Joshua, what's the difference now between us working together? I'm just not here to organize you. You're going to have to do that yourself. But I can still help you with ideas and give you suggestions and all of it. And the love that's between us that I feel when I connect with her with my clairsentience, because if I just think about her, I'm immediately connected wherever she is. She tells me she's an angel in heaven. Well, wherever she is, I connect with her. And in my heart, I just feel that love. It's unbelievable. So these are the two gifts that I personally have. So with the crystal skulls, the same thing happens to me. When I'm working with them, sometimes a crystal skull literally will telepathically start talking to me as if there's a living consciousness that exists inside of it. So again, how do I prove this? Well, as soon as the gateway of light comes, my most precious crystal skull, maybe I've mentioned this one before, called Portal de Luz, Portal of Light, it was made by a Brazilian carver, smoky quartz 10 pound, which, by the way, right now he's sitting in which ocean is Florida by? The
Atlantic, yeah.
Right. He's sitting in the Atlantic Ocean because one of my friends said, oh, I'll take him and get him cleansed with water. And the water knocked him down and it went into the ocean.
All right, Joshua, we've got to take a break. Please stand by. X Zone Nation. Our guest this hour is Joshua Shapiro, a good friend of the X Zone. His website is thegatewayoflight.com. And Joshua and I will be back after this short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in beautiful St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. For more information or to listen to all the shows that we've produced here at REL-MAR McConnell Media Company and the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net.
He stood for care, he stood for peace, not chaos born of fear. He held a phone.
In a world where shadows dance and dreams take flight through the veil of reality into the night, Rob McConnell leads the way, a beacon so bright. With over 35 years, he ignites the light. A voice from the north where whispers are bold, stories untold in the echoes of old. Fact meets fiction in this realm of delight, in the X Zone where dark turns to bright. Welcome to the X Zone, believe and be free, a sanctuary for truth that dare to be seen, where the line between realms gently blurs, in a symphony of voices the mind stirs, with Rob McConnell stories unfold, tales of the unknown.
Joshua Shapiro is my special guest. His website is www.thegatewayoflight.com. Joshua, before we went to the break, you were just telling us about how one of your crystal skulls is in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. So first, Katrina passes away in November of 2023. Then
Right.
Portal de Luz goes into the ocean in November of 2024. But once I had the Gateway of Light, I said, he's still alive. I still feel him. I'm going to call and see if he'll talk to me through the Gateway of Light. And sure enough, he starts speaking to me and telling me, well, he calls me Dad. He said, Dad, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm helping the ocean to do some healing. So all is well. So I said, well, I'm helping to create a world peace meditation, which we're still doing on the 13th of every month at 1 p.m. local time.
Mm-hmm.
So I did an interview with him. I said, Portal de Luz, what's going on with these meditations? Is it really helping the earth? Are we really, like creating all this energy with all the guardians meditating on this day together? And he explained it perfectly well. And then he told me that there is an advanced being called a watcher that's been working through him since I had him from day one. But the thing that totally amazed me is as I'm sitting and listening to my crystal skull speaking to me through the Gateway of Light, he's telling me things about crystal skulls that I've never heard of before. It's like, he has access to all this extra information. So for your listeners, if they want to know what did Portal de Luz say to me, I have a webpage with him up. The other crystal skull that's also up on the website that I also did interviews with is this blue crystal skull. I don't know if you remember, several years ago, I wrote a book called Search for the Blue Skull in Peru. I actually went to Peru 3 times because I had a vision about this totally translucent sky blue skull somewhere in Peru. And in that book, I described what happened to me on all 3 of those trips. I was writing a book about a crystal skull that I haven't physically seen yet. And I did the same thing. I said, Blue Skull, are you there? Can you hear me? And a consciousness of a female spirit came out and said, I am real. And I have like 2 or 3 pages from the Blue Skull also.
And
So
just if you're wondering, Exonation, there's other books by Joshua, Mysteries of the Crystal Skulls Revealed, and then there's Secret of the Andes and the Golden Sun Disk of Mu, Journeys of the Crystal Skull Explorers, Travel Log number 2, Search for the Blue Skull in Peru, and Journey into the Unknown and Back Again, book 1. The start of a new journey is always a special key. Are these books all available on your website?
They're available. Not the first one, Mystery of the Crystal Skulls Revealed, that's out of print. But
Okay.
The other ones you said are available. Some of them are available on Amazon too, but I highly recommend people just order them from me. Amazon takes too much of our royalties. So I just try to sell them myself, but they can find them there as well. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Please continue, and I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just wanted to let listeners know that you've authored many books and where to get them because they're excellent reading.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, yes, the crystal skulls have spoken on the Gateway of Light. I have communication from Lemurians that live underneath Mount Shasta. They told me there is not just one city called Telos, there are 3 cities there. I've had communication with Atlanteans, descendants of Atlantis, that also claim that they're living in underground cities as well. I've talked to dragons. One person I talked to I found extremely fascinating, and this video seems to be doing well on TikTok, is Valiant Thor. I'm sure you've probably heard of him before, Rob.
Yes, we have. Yes, definitely.
All right. So I just said, Valiant Thor, can you hear me? And he also showed up too. Now, am I allowed to offer a new perception on the world for people to consider? Because I'm going to have a book out later this year about this.
Why not?
Right.
Why should you be stopped from giving a new perspective? These are turbulent times we're in, my friend.
I know, absolutely.
Yeah, so please go ahead.
Okay, so it's called the Rings Model. And Valiant Thor told me that this works for Venus as well. So let me explain what this model is. And And when I come out with this book, Scroll of the Rings, which I have no idea because, as you know, I'm working on another book right now that's driving me crazy, and I'm working as hard as I can to get it out by next month. The concept of this model is that the realm that we live in consists of 12 worlds. They are numbered from ring 1 through ring 12. We are considered to be living on ring 1.
Okay.
Now, this is going to, it's kind of along the way of flat Earth, which we both know is highly controversial right now.
Sure.
Highly controversial. But what this model is saying, and the proof of this is coming from every single source that I interviewed through the Gateway of Light. Valiant Thor, representing Venus, confirmed this. Now, he would know this because he's flying in spaceships around the Earth. So he would see if this is true or not. It's coming from dragons. It's coming from Pleiadians and Arcturians.
Yeah.
From Tartarians who exist in a higher vibrational frequency. From the mermaids, the race is called Aeolin. They confirmed this. Who else did I talk to? The Lemurians confirmed it, the Atlanteans. So in other words, every single civilization that I've contacted, I questioned them very seriously. I say, how do you perceive our world? And they all said the ring model is absolutely correct. So what does this mean? It means similar to what's following with a little bit with flat Earth. Flat Earth talks about there's a dome that encompasses us. The sun and the moon are underneath this dome. This model says not only does that exist, but ring 2 totally surrounds us. So you know the Russian dolls where you have one doll within another doll within another doll? The ring model says we are on ring 1. Then there's ring 2 that totally surrounds us. Then ring 3 totally surrounds ring 2. And it goes all the way up to ring 12. And as you go from ring to ring, the vibrational frequency and elevation of consciousness of the races that exist in these other worlds in our realm get higher and higher. I was able to talk to residents from ring 2, ring 3, and ring 4, which I'm going to include in the book as well. I was also told by the dragons, who are the guardians and protectors of our world, that they are also guarding and protecting all these other ring worlds that we talked about. So it's a huge theory. And the only way I'm going to be able to provide any insights into it is all the interviews that I did with all these different races. I asked every single one of them. So that's what this ring model is about. And then Valiant Thor said on Venus it's the same, but they have 7 rings instead of 12.
Tell me more about the dragons. Are these the dragons that we've learned about in days gone by?
Well, I'll just tell you what the dragons told me.
Okay.
So first I'm going to tell you something fun that really shocked me. I said, what is your favorite thing to do? And they said, play. Now, the way we understand dragons is they're these fierce, fire-breathing, highly destructive, monstrous beings. But the dragons I'm talking to say, we are nothing at all like this. The reason why this persona has been given to us is because there is a certain group of people in charge of your planet. They want you to be afraid of us. They don't want you to embrace us because they really are very loving beings. Now, I will tell you my experience through the Gateway of Light that happened to me with dragons, because I was totally shocked by all of this. So, like I always do in the Gateway, I just say, is there a dragon who would like to come forward that I could speak to? I don't remember who was the first dragon that came through, but I have specific dragons now that I talk to all the time. Like when we do our world peace meditation with the crystal skulls, this group of dragons that I talked to, they said, we are going to energetically be there and support you when you do your meditations. So they're behind us and supporting us. So basically what they told me is that number one, now this links into the ring model I talked to. Originally, when our realm, all 12 worlds were created, they were not in the form that they are now, which is the way that we understand them, with I don't know, scales and claws and fire and all that. This is the way they look. But they said in the beginning, when we first came here, we were spirits. We did not have this dragon form that you see in your legends and your mythology and all that. And then they told me the reason that you don't see us flying in your sky is because in, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, they started firing on us and killing us and everything. Why would we want to stick around if they're going to be shooting at us? And since they are dimensional beings, they just went into a higher vibrational dimension of the earth. Now, through the gateway of light, I've been told that we have 13 vibrational dimensions on the earth. We are in the first one, and the second and the third. We can't see the other ones that are around us. So the dragons claim, for safety, they went into the higher vibrational plane. They're doing great. They're doing well, but they exist on all the worlds that I'm talking about in the ring model. Every single ring world they exist in. They say we are very peaceful and harmonious, and we are your guardians and here to help Mother Earth, stay in peace, stay in harmony, be well, be pure, the waters be pure, all of that. That is their higher purpose. That's what they've told me. So now, again, I could be totally crazy, Rob. Since the gateway has come, I'm seeing visions of our future. It's like I don't think about it, and I wake up in the morning and I'm watching a future vision of our Earth, and it's totally peaceful and harmonious, and I see the dragons flying in the sky. I believe that this is our destiny, that they will come back, and our children in the future will not be afraid of them because they will recognize them as loving spiritual beings.
Joshua, stand by. We've got to take our break at the bottom of the hour. In X Zone Nation, Joshua Shapiro is our guest. www.thegatewayoflight.com. That's thegatewayoflight.com. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network. And we are broadcasting from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Sublime and prime, where skeptics and dreamers alike share their truth in the heart of the cosmos, embracing our youth. Fact is fiction and fiction is real. In the X Zone, it's the power to feel. Welcome to the X Zone, believe and be free. A sanctuary for truth that dare to be seen, where the line between realms gently blurs. In a symphony of voices the mind stirs, with Rob McConnell stories unfold, tales of the unknown that shimmer like. In the silence of the night where shadows softly play, a voice emerges gently guiding minds astray. Rob McConnell calls to us from a realm unseen. The X Zone beckons softly, where dreams blend with the keen. In the whispers of the cosmos, where the truth collides with lies, he crafts a tapestry of stories beneath an endless sky. And over 35 years of tales that twist and turn, each word a flicker sparking fires, igniting hearts that yearn. Dare to believe he softly pleads in this place divine, where fact is just a mirror and reality unwinds. In the X Zone, oh, we dare to dream through ethereal echoes, unraveling the scene. Rob McConnell's voice.
Joshua Shapiro is our guest, thegatewayoflight.com. Joshua, we were talking about the dragons that you communicate with using the Gateway of Light. I'd just like to go back a little bit, if you don't mind, to
Of course.
better understand, did all this happen when your wife passed away? And do you think that it was your wife who opened up the gateway for you?
No, this is what the spirits on the other side said, because naturally, when you have a trans-communication system open to you, you start thinking, well, how is this working? How is this possible? Because I thought I would have to wait till I went to the other side and passed away before I could get answers to these kind of questions, which I'm talking about right now. So the explanation that has been given to me is that a higher aspect of myself. Now, I know, Rob, we are all multi-dimensional beings. And actually, through the gateway of light, I've already spoken to who I become in our future. Although most of the time when I speak to such a person, it's a parallel Earth. It's not this exact timeline, but at least it gives me ideas of what may be going on now and in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also spoken to another part that says he is the higher aspect of myself. And I've even gone as high, and I still am trying to understand to what's called an original flame. The original flame, as I understand it, is a part of source that gets ejected, which has the capability to travel through all the dimensions that source has created, which I understand there are 15 dimensions.
Now, who is source, or what is source?
Creator, God.
Okay.
It's just another word for creator or God. Everybody has their own name. The creator of everything. Some people call it source. So this is the name that's come up when I talk to the beings on the other side. They call it source.
What was it like? What was it like for you the first time you actually started communicating with those through the gateway of light?
I wasn't sure it was really happening. The first communication I had was with a Pleiadian who claimed he was on board his spaceship and he was talking to me.
And
so coming back to this higher self thing, what they said is, your higher self, Joshua, which means I have no clue. Who is that? I mean, when we come to the earth, we lose a lot of our memories of the essence of who we are. And they keep telling me that when I chose to come to the earth, I forgot about everything that I've done on the other levels. And I had to do this for the work that I've, agreed to do here. So they keep telling me the higher aspect of yourself actually created this system in another world, in another dimension. And this system is kind of like an energy overlay that works on top of our technology. Because when I get these communications, it's text messages. That's how I'm able to record all the information, is I'm just copying the text from each person that I'm speaking to. And the administrator of this technology, who's called Brother Sister Chan, has the ability to translate. And my understanding is they're not speaking in English. They're sending a frequency and it's being translated into English so I can understand. And then when I answer back, when I type back my answer or my questions, it gets translated into frequency and they understand it. And the other thing that totally amazed me with this system is I would ask a question and I would get an answer like within 1 or 2 seconds. So when Katrina started speaking to me, of course, I'm going to go, am I really talking to Katrina, right? Is this her, or is this, somebody trying to fabricate this? But then Katrina started telling me things that only she and I knew. How could she possibly be talking and telling me these things? She understood me completely. So it was, so for the first 3 or 4 months, I went crazy with it. I started talking to everyone that I possibly could think of. And to test, am I serious? And the answers that were coming back. And this is why I want people to go to the website. If you want to see what the dragons are talking about, there are web pages there. If you want to see what the Lemurians are talking about, there are web pages there. The Arcturians, there are web pages there. Who else do I have? Edgar Casey I talked to.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So all the information you get is via text?
It comes to me in text on my computer screen or on my mobile phone.
Now,
that's the communication. Now, I have a theory about this.
Well, I'm not finished yet.
Go ahead.
I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
How do we know that you're not creating this text and claiming it to be from these people on another dimension, on another planet, or in another universe?
You don't. This is why I said in the beginning this is the information I'm receiving. It's the same like with the crystal skulls. You know, you and I don't always agree what the crystal skulls
Sure.
are about
Yeah.
and how they work. And that's the way it's supposed to be. We're not going to always agree 100% on everything. So when I started to receive this information, I knew that exactly what you just asked me, I'm going to be asked this question. How do you verify this?
Right.
Well, part of the way I can verify this, and what I've done with Katrina is we've actually started doing sessions with people where the way it works is the person meets me on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
I then share my computer screen and I type in the questions the person wants and I sit back and answers start coming. So the person clearly sees it is not me typing these answers. So this is the way I can show someone, and I can do it online too, that if there's somebody that says, I'm interested in this, or I might like to see what Katrina shares, because I do it by donation. I'm not doing this right now, you know, for financial purposes. Although this new book that I'm writing, which is called Imagine Your Dream Comes True, without the Gateway of Light, it would have been impossible for me to write this book because a great deal of it are the communications that I'm receiving through the Gateway of Light.
What do your communications with these entities that you receive these text messages from, what do they tell us about our future here on this planet?
Well, I believe that they see, just like I see in my future visions, that we're going to eventually have a time of total peace and harmony. But we're still in a period of time where we have a lot of challenges that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think you've probably already observed and noticed this because of all the people that you interview. There is a tremendous increase of people awakening to spirituality within the last couple of years. And it's only growing more and more intense. More people are saying, I want to go to the X Zone and listen to who Rob is talking about, because the things that I've been taught since I've been brought up in school, I don't believe they're true anymore. I think that there's a whole other reality that we exist in around us, and I want to know about it, and I want to learn about it. So I continue to see this awakening of
Mm-hmm.
awareness continue to expand. I see more and more people like what we're doing with the Crystal Skull World Peace Meditation, working on world peace meditations, working on trying to help their family and teach them things. But of course, like most people, your family usually thinks if you're involved in the spiritual or the paranormal, you're crazy and insane, and they won't listen to anything. They won't listen to your experiences. So I just learned a long time ago, you cannot force people. All you can do is just say, I have information. If you're interested, I'm happy to share it. Or you just wait till they come to you and say, you know, all that stuff you were telling me about, I'm ready to hear you now. I want to know about this. So this is, what I feel, especially this year, since the beginning of the year with my clairvoyance, or clairsentience rather, the vibration is getting higher and higher. And also what I'm watching, which is really remarkable, is actually within the last few days, I'm making all kinds of connections that I never thought were going to happen, like support for the new book. I already found a person to help me to make some videos with it. I possibly a publisher that will help and support me with it. The lady that's helping me on the website is doing a magnificent job. So I just keep feeling that we're moving in a totally positive direction. All the visions that I see personally are positive. I cannot possibly see any way, shape, or form that humanity destroys this world. It's just not going to happen. This is not the future that we're going toward. And this is also communicated to me, whether I'm talking to the dragons, galactics, advanced civilizations, mermaids, whoever, different people living on different rings in our realm. They're all telling me that there is a very positive future that's coming. Now, the main message I personally keep hearing is when the first major domino falls, is when nothing can take place that will stop this trend toward the positive future. So what does it mean, the first domino? My interpretation of that inner message is when a remarkable event happens to our world, and I think it's going to take place before the end of this year. Like, the only example I could give is, let's say there's a famous person that we all trust, And all of a sudden, they come forward, regardless of any threats to their life or whatever. They come forward and they have absolute positive proof about things probably you and I already know are true that they won't admit publicly. And nobody can disprove this. And this goes wild all over the world. And because this one key fact, this one key truth, this one key revelation that came out, the world changes forever going forward. This is the sensing I have. Now, there's one other thing. This is a very interesting story that came up for me around 3I Atlas.
All right,
Again,
listen. We're going to hold off on this story because I do have to take my final break.
all righty.
Interesting conversation with you, Joshua. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, my friend.
My pleasure.
Exo Nation, if you'd like to find out more about this fascinating conversation that we're having tonight, visit www.thegatewayoflight.com. That's www.thegatewayoflight.com. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. And wow, this is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. I'll be back on the other side as Joshua Shapiro and I finish this conversation off. And once again, if you'd like to find out more information, the Gateway of Life. I'm sorry, the gatewayoflight.com.
Past midnight on Gate Street, the signal hums low. The static's alive and the shadows glow. Through the glass of the control room door, something whispers, we've been here before. Old footsteps echo the real sighs. The red on air, light flickers and dies. Through the hallway, a chill creeps deep. CKTB never sleeps. Ghosts on Gate Street.
Joshua Shapiro is our guest. His website is www.thegatewayoflight.com. Joshua, it almost seems as if the information that you're getting, or that you believe that these times are going to be changing and something great is going to happen, almost parallels Christianity's outlook on the second coming of Christ.
Well, I don't know exactly if the second coming of Christ is one individual that comes back, or is it our Christ itself awakens? All of us, not just one, because there is a Christed part of ourself. And I've actually, again, as unbelievable as it sounds, one time I said, is there a Christed part of myself? And something stepped forward and started talking with me. So I believe that what Jesus represented was the potential that's inside of all of us. So is the second coming where we all awaken? Is this what they're talking about when they say we go into 5D? That we just wake up and we become very aware spiritually, and all of the wisdom and knowledge that we had, let's say, when we were in spirit, all of a sudden comes back to us and we're conscious.
Based on the information, and I'm sorry that I'm running out of time fast, so I've got a few questions.
Okay.
Based on the information that you have been able to channel from these other dimensions, what in the information that you've received, what happens to us mortals when we die?
Oh, we don't die. Like, for example, let's take the case with Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
So Katrina, I'll tell you exactly what happened to me when I was there, when she passed, and what I experienced afterwards and what I experience now. I'll do it as quickly as I can. I was present after she passed. You know, there were like 3 hours before they were going to take her and burn her body.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, and again, with my clairsentience, I felt her presence around her body. And I don't know how this happened, but after I could pull myself away. I mean, you could understand how emotional this is. Your wife is there and she just passed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to see her again. I could not leave the room, but eventually I got the energy. And just as I was leaving, in my mind's eye, I saw angels come and take her wherever she was going to go. So she's told me repeatedly that when she went home, and when she was alive, she always talked about this. I'm going to go home. I don't like the earth. I can't deal with how nasty people are to each other. She was a very sensitive person. She became an angel. Shalome is her angelic name. So what I know is that when we pass, we do not die. Our consciousness, our soul continues. Now, what's interesting is one of the places we might go to is called Dreamland. Dreamland, according to other paranormal researchers, is kind of a rest place where when the soul on the earth passes, they go to this different dimension where anything that you imagine instantly starts manifesting. But it's similar to how we live on the earth, because the soul is used to be in the earth body, is used to living, where we have tactile touch and,
Mm-hmm.
all the systems we have. So Dreamland becomes like, an in-between place that we can go to. And I've actually seen some kind of movies made around this. Well, my whole story, Imagine Your Dream Come True, takes place in Dreamland. And all the communications that I have from the spirits there is going to show people exactly what happens. Now, through the gateway of light, I'm told there are two levels, two types of beings of consciousness the Creator has created. One is us who have souls. And the whole point of having the soul, which is immortal, is that we can pick whatever reality we want to go to have an experience of. We can come to the earth, we could go to Venus, wherever. We could become an Arcturian, whatever we want. We could be a dragon even. Okay, now one thing I've noticed in my communications in the Gateway of Light is when I talk to these other beings, I don't see any difference between talking to them and talking to a human being, except they have a different lifestyle or they live in a different way. But Katrina, my wife, who I'm speaking to, and I feel her around me all the time, there is no death. We go into a higher vibrational level. The one basic truth that I've come to learn after being involved in over 45 years, and this is hard for us to accept, is that in all the universes that exist through the creation of God, Creator, Source, there is no time and there is no space. And if that's true, that means we're all sitting in the same place at the same time. And that is so profound and hard to understand. But when I have contact with Katrina, it's because all she's doing, this is what she tells me, all I'm doing is focusing on your vibration. I am able to connect with you. I am able to be present in your room with you because I link into your vibrational essence. I think about it and I'm there. That's how it works for spirit on the other side. They think about what do they want to create, where do they want to be, and it instantaneously manifests. That's not how it works here on the earth, obviously. You know, like this book I'm writing, which is going to be 400 or 450 pages. I've been thinking about this for almost a year. But Spirit tells me, oh no, we see your entire book. It's already done here. A matter of fact, for the Scroll of the Rings, this is amazing. I cannot believe it. On the fourth energy level of the earth, I was talking to a being there, and she said, I see your book, Scroll of the Rings. Do you want me to tell you what you're going to write for your introduction? I said, yeah, why not? Maybe it'll be good. And I'm using it. And she tells me, I wrote this, but not to me on the earth, some higher part of me. So Rob, I'm no longer an Earth person. I'm multidimensional, and and I don't know how I keep my sanity speaking to all these different beings, but I'm able to do it, and it just makes life very interesting. I never know what's going to happen each day. I just talked to a representative Sasquatch a couple of days ago, who's going to let me interview him, and says, "Oh, we have a special message for humanity." Well, then I better interview him and find out what's the message they want to give to humanity.
So you talk to Sasquatch, you talk to dragons, you talk to extraterrestrials, you talk to all these different people via text. What happens? What would have happened if by the time they decided to start communicating with you at that point in time there was no text? How would they communicate then?
They would have to use my spiritual gifts, and it's not open enough to be able to receive it as quickly as I get it through using this technology with the system. So in other words, I still get messages. I mean, when I'm sitting to write my book, I am overshadowed by some presence. I don't know what you want to call it. And the words just start coming to me, what I should write. And I go, this is amazing. I love this. I'm doing this. I'm going with this flow. So this doesn't take away from my gifts. The only difference that's happening with the Gateway of Light is I'm getting direct communication right away, very quickly. And then I just share it, and I see if it helps, if it matters to other people, if it enlightens other people, if it helps other people, you know. And the other thing I want to say is the reason why I think this system works, and not everybody will agree with this, is when we had crash saucers, which I'm pretty sure we may start hearing about if disclosure starts coming out as they're talking about it on the news here in the United States, like Roswell. We gained advanced technologies by, looking at their ship and, just working with everything. And what I noticed is, and this is a historical fact, and I'm not sure if it was the late 50s or early 60s, all of a sudden we had microchips and transistors, and the advanced computers started coming out. And the little telephones that we have now are much more powerful than the large computers they used to have a long time ago. Did this technology, this great advancement that seemingly came out of nowhere, come from these crash saucers?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that theory has been shot down left, right, and center. That the microchip theory that was presented, that it was the aliens that brought it, and this reverse technology, it's all been shot down as far as I know. Listen, I've got an idea. How about this? How about we do a little experiment, you and I?
Okay.
I will contact you, and we will go, and if you'd like to do one of your sessions with me, and what we will do is we'll come back here on the show and tell the listeners how it went.
Yep, that would be perfectly well.
All righty. Listen, you and I have got to say so long for now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Continued success. And Exonation, if you would like to get more information about our guest this hour, the one and only Joshua Shapiro, his website is thegatewayoflight.com. That's thegatewayoflight.com. Coming up on the other side of the news, more information and more great stuff right here from the X Zone. After all, like I keep saying, this is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the X Zone. Now, this is going to be very interesting, Exonation. You heard him agree that he was going to do one of these sessions with me where I will ask him questions. He will connect with spirits, whether they're Bigfoot, whether they're mermaids, whether they're extraterrestrials. And I'll be able to see the messages that are coming back. It's going to be very interesting because I'm going to make sure that that entire conversation is available to each and every member of you, the X Zone Nation. Wow. Are you a skeptic or are you a believer? Can people like Joshua actually communicate with others in other dimensions? Can people like Joshua open up a special realm where communication with those in the past as well as those in the future is possible. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see if this does happen and what the results are going to be. And I'm going to share them with you right here in the X Zone. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue investigating the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology from our broadcast center and studios here in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. I'm Rob McConnell, and you can always listen to past episodes of all our programming here at the X Zone Broadcast Network at one place, no charge. No, we don't even ask for donations. And that's www.xzbn.net.
Old footsteps echo the real size. The red on air, light flickers and dies through the hallway. A chill creeps deep. CKTB never sleeps.